Hi there everybody, my name is Ali and today we are doing internal from TryHackme. This was a Linux machine and to get onto the box we will see WordPress running on the box. So we will try to brute force the credentials for the admin user using Hydra or Wpscan and log into WordPress. Then from there we will get a reverse shell by simply changing the code of the theme. In the privilege escalation, first we will see some credentials of the user aubreanna in the aub directory and log in using aubreanna. After logging in as aubreanna user, we will see a text file from which we will notice that Jenkins is running internally. So we will need to do port forwarding and access that Jenkins server on our Kali machine. And then we will do brute force again to get the credentials for the admin user on Jenkins and log into Jenkins. And then we will try to get a reverse shell using groovy script. But after getting a reverse shell, we will get into the Docker container and now we need to escape that Docker container. So we will see one text file and in the text file we will see the root user credentials and then we will SSH into the root user to complete this box. So that being said, let's jump in. I already have started my machine and my IP address is 10.10.4.226. So I will start off with the Nmap Scan, Nmap-A for aggressive scan, -V for verbosity and then the IP address of the target which is 10.10.4.226. This can take some time to run, so I already have ran it. Let's see the results. Looking at the results, we see we are having only two ports open. Starting from port 22, the service running is SSH and we are having banner which is OpenSSH 7.6 P1. We are also having our operating system which is Ubuntu. Then we are having port 80, the service is HTTP and the web server which is running is Apache HTTPD 2.4.29. And the supported methods are post, options, head, get. Nothing interesting right now here. Then we are having HTTP server header of Apache 2.4.29 and the HTTP title is Apache to Ubuntu default page. So it looks like to me that only Apache default website is running. So let's see what is running on port 80. So typing the IP address 10.10.4.226 and let's see what is here. And we can see right away that I am having the default website for Apache web server. Most probably you will not see anything right here because it is by default. We can see the page source by pressing Ctrl U onto the keyboard to see if there is any sort of comments or not. So if I scroll down, only CSS, then I am having some sort of comments but nothing interesting in these comments. Then scroll down and till the bottom I am having nothing. So let's close this one, and now whenever I see nothing right here, I always go for directory brute forcing. So for that I use two tools, Gobuster and ffuff. Both of them are absolutely fine for me. Ffuff is extremely fast, so I will show you the syntax for both of these. So first Gobuster, so Gobuster dir for directory brute force mode, -u for URL, http 10.10.4.226 which is my IP, and then I will specify the word list -w user share word list dirbuster directory list 2.3 medium.txt, and the extensions which I will go for is PHP because I saw Apache web server is running, so I always go for PHP extensions whenever Apache is running. So if I hit enter, it will start doing brute force attack, and right away I am having one directory which is called blog. So while it is running, let's see what is running on blog. So if I move here, go to blog, and right at the bottom I can see that it says connecting to internal.thm. so whenever you see these sort of domain names, what you need to do is you need to come back to your host file and you need to add that domain name, otherwise you will never see any other website running. So what I will do in this case is I will open a new terminal and I will say like nano hc host, and I already have added my domain name into my host. But what you need to do is you need to add your IP address at the very beginning. So 10.10.4.226 which is my IP address of the machine, and the domain name which I found using the website right at the bottom, we can see it is connecting to internal.thm. so in this form you need to add the IP address right here, the domain name right here, then you need to save this file and then you will see the website, otherwise you will never see anything on the web browser. So Ctrl O to save, hit enter and Ctrl X to exit nano. And now I will come back my here, and if I refresh this page, hopefully now I will see something. And right away you can see that I am having now a proper website just because I have added my domain name into my host file. But right now I'm having, it looks like that this is a WordPress website because it says that just another WordPress website, and we are having some sort of post, and we are also having the date August 3 2020. Then if I scroll down, nothing interesting. We are having a login page, but now I know that WordPress is running. So if I click on login, let's see where it moves us, and it moves us to wplogin.php. So whenever I see login pages, I always go for default credentials. So let's go for admin. So admin in the username, admin in the password, and it says the error message, and it says the password you have entered for the username admin is incorrect. Now this is strange because this should not have been showed to me, because if I, let's say if I enter the username test123 and the password of test123, let's see what error message it gives us. And this time it says unknown username. Check again or try your email address. So in this case we have in username enumeration as well, because if I type in a correct username, it gives me that you have entered the wrong password. If I type in any wrong username, it says that you have entered wrong username. So now whenever I see login pages, I always try to do a brute force attack on the admin pages. But before doing a brute force attack, I know that WordPress is running, so I will use a tool called Wpscan. So let's see our Gobuster where it is. It has found one more directory, which is WordPress again. So let's see what is running on WordPress as well. So internal.thm, then I will do WordPress. And right away it says in the title page not found, but right now I am having still another page, and it is again the same one, I think so. So now I know that in the WordPress directory or the blog directory, WordPress website is running. So now let's start our WP scan. So I will control C this Gobuster scan, and let's see how to use WP scan. So WP scan, and let's do -h for help. And I am having the help for this one, I think so. I need to specify the URL. So let's see. Okay, so for URL we need to supply --URL, and I will also do some enumeration. So for enumeration we use -e parameter, and I will look for vulnerable plugins, or let's look for all plugins, because all plugins will also show me other plugins as well, and the vulnerable one as well. If it doesn't show me what plugins are vulnerable, I will go for search exploit, and I will just do search exploit then the plugin name, and that will be useful for me. Then I think so let's use only these two things. So I will do wp scan --url, and my URL is http internal.thm. The reason why I am using internal.thm right here is because I have added internal.thm is in my host file. So now it will resolve it in its IP address, or you can also type in the IP address right here. You can do anything whatever you want. So now I will do WordPress right here, because I know that in WordPress directory there is a WordPress website running. And then I will do -e for enumerate, and I will enumerate first of all users, and then a comma, and then all plugins. So you should always use all plugins as well. And if sometimes you are stuck into a rabbit hole, you can also use plugins detection mode aggressive as well. So it might be possible that there might be some other plugins which are not detected by like passive scanner. So you can also specify aggressive mode as well, and it will detect plugins as well. So if I hit enter now, let's see what it gives us. And now my WordPress scan has been complete, and if I scroll at the very top, we can see right here I am having some headers. Then I am having my WordPress version, which is 4.5.2. We can also go to search exploit, or we can go to Google and see there is any other CVE or any exploit for this version. But we are having one username as well, which is admin, and now I know that admin is present here. Our WordPress can also found out that one, but the problem is that no plugins found. So I have no plugins right now here, because if there would have been any sort of plugins, I will definitely go to Google and try to find out an exploit for this one. But right now now I am not having any sort of plugin, so that's fine. I think so we should now move on to the password brute force for admin user. So now for password brute forcing, what we can do is we can again, let's move on to wp-login.php, which was the login page, and let's click on this login button right here. So there are two methods from which we can try to do a brute force attack onto the admin username. The first one is using Wpscan and the second one is Hydra. So right now I will use Wpscan. So and in the next 1 to 15 minutes we will see Hydra as well, because there is one more brute force to be done. So what I will do right here is I will remove -e from here. Then I will specify dash dash usernames. Now the syntax for this one is dash dash usernames, and we need to specify the username, admin, and dash dash passwords, and here I will specify my passwords list. So the always I like to use is user share wordlist rockU.txt. So and I will also specify the threads as well with -t parameter, and I will let's specify 80 threads just to make it fast. Now normally Hydra has maximum threads of 64, so we will see in a moment right now as well. So if I hit enter now, and now it will launch the same scan again, and at the very end it will start doing a password brute force, and it will take some time. So let's see whether it cracks the password or not. Now normally whenever I do password brute forcing, what I like to do is I like to do passwords until 5000 requests. So until 5000 passwords are done and 5000 requests are being made, and if I have not found any password until then, I just press Ctrl C, whether I am using Hydra, whether I am using Wpscan, and so on. So after 5000 passwords I just press Ctrl C and start more enumeration onto the box. So right now I will still wait for 5000 passwords, and now my password brute forcing has been started. It is quite fast, and I will wait until 5000, and if it doesn't give me anything I will just move on. And right away, now after exact 3920 requests, I found my username and password, and the password for admin user was my two boys. And the same thing we can do this one with Hydra as well, but Hydra makes it a little bit difficult for the syntax because we need to do a lot of things to do that. So I will right now paste my username and password into my notes, and I will copy the username, and let's try to log in whether I am able to log in right here or not. So admin in the username, my two boys in the password, hit enter, and now it says that administration email verification. I will just click on remind me later, and it looks like that I am successfully logged in. So now I need to get a reverse shell onto the box. So the WordPress reverse shell is very easy. There are a bunch of methods. The first one is that we can edit a theme, and we can edit the code for that theme, and we can just execute that theme and we will get a reverse shell. The second one is that we can try to upload a plugin which is vulnerable. We can install it onto the WordPress, and then from its vulnerability we can just simply try to get a reverse shell. So right now what I will do is I will just try to make it much easier for you. So what you need to do is whenever you are able to log in as WordPress as admin, so what you need to do is you need to click on app appearances, then you need to go to theme editor, and here we will try to change the code for any theme which I want. So let's see. Now clicking on theme editor moves me to this page, and right now at the right corner we can see that I am having right now 2017 theme edited, and the one which I will be editing is I will be editing PHP file. So you can pick up any PHP file. Right now I will be going to pick this 404 template, which is 404.php file. Let's click on this one, and hopefully I will be seeing the PHP code for this template right here. So what I can do right now is I can simply paste my malicious PHP code right here, and I can simply try to execute this theme, and I will will show you how to execute this theme in WordPress, or if you are having any other CMS, you can preview the theme and you will try to execute your PHP code. So first of all, we need to have our PHP code. So I will clear the screen right here, and Kali Linux comes pre-installed with PHP reverse shell. So we will be going to use that one in this as well. So if I do locate PHP reverse shell.php, I have PHP reverse shell in all of these directories. Let's copy any one of these into my current working directory and let's open this one. So if I do sublime PHP reverse shell.php, and this is the complete PHP code, which is a reverse shell. The two things which I need to change is this IP address and port. So I will change my IP right here, which is my local IP. So my local IP is 10.17.41.9. You can just type in ifconfig onto your keyboard and see this one. And I will change my port to 4444. So I'll copy all of this code. I will come to my browser again and I will just paste that code in here, removing the previous code, which was the original PHP 404 template code. And I will paste my reverse shell and I will click on update file. And now you can see right here, I am having file edited successfully. So now the problem is that I need to figure out how I can execute this theme or how I can execute this 404.php file. So normally in WordPress, the themes and all of the files are in WP content directory. So if I remove WP admin from here right now, let's see WP content is present or not. So WP content, hit enter, and I am having a blank page. Now I am not having any sort of errors, so it means that it does exist. Then we have, I think so, a folder called themes. Now we can also go to Google and search for that what is the default directory for themes in WordPress, but normally always it is WP content and themes all of the times for me. So if I hit enter after entering themes, yes, I am still having a blank page. I am not having anything, but that's fine until and unless it is not giving you any sort of error like 404 not found or 403 forbidden. Then I will see what was my theme, and my theme was 2017. So 2017, and then after that I edited a file which was 404.php. So it will be like 404.php. Now everything is correct, so it should execute, and I will set up my netcat listener as well. So if my reverse shell gets execute, I should get a reverse shell onto my Kali machine. So let's come back here, let's hit enter, and now it is redirecting to Google. Let's me try one more time real quick. So WP content, I just need to add HTTP right at the beginning. Now it will work fine. So themes 2017 and 404.php, and I will add HTTP in the beginning as well. So hit enter now, and let's come back to our terminal, and right here you can see my PHP reverse shell got executed, and now I have a reverse shell. So if I type in who am I am www-data. So now I am onto the box. So first thing first, what I will do is I will upgrade my shell to Fully Interactive TTY. So for that I will use Python -c for command. I will import pty module. So import pty dot spawn, and I will spawn bin bash. The reason why I am doing this, because I need a fully interactive TTY shell, because if I press Ctrl C right now, my session will get expired. So I don't want to do that. So hit enter, and now I have a neat shell. So if I do Ctrl Z now to background, and then I need to type in a command called stty raw -echo semicolon and foreground just to get back into this one. And now I will add a few things. First of all, I will specify my rows and columns of the terminal to this shell. So I will do stty. My rows are right, I can see at the top into my terminators bar that I am having rows of 37. My columns are 146. Hit enter, and now I will export few variables so that I can use my shortcut keys like Ctrl L to clear the screen. So I will export one variable called term to my original terminals, which is xterm, And then I will also like to add some colors as well. So for that I like to use 256 color right here. And then at the end I will execute bin bash. Okay, so now if I press Ctrl L onto my keyboard, my screen has been cleared. If I press Ctrl C, you can see now I am still onto the box and my session is not getting expired. So this is very helpful sometimes, because if you are having some sort of kernel exploits, might be possible that kernel exploits are not working just because of this one, because you are not having a complete shell, and some other things like nano or vim, you are trying to edit any file. Because of this reason they will give you a very strange sort of like output. So that's why first of all I always like to do this one. So let's start our enumeration. First of all I will do id command. Now I always like to do some manual enumeration before going for linpiece, because you need to understand what sort of commands you need to run and what is going behind linpiece as well. So id to see whether I'm a member of any group. No. So if I do like uname-a to see my operating system and kernel details, so Linux internal 4.15, and my architecture is x86_64, which means it is 64-bit operating system. Then I will see my users. So if I do cat etc password, and the ones which are having bin bash or the ones which are having 1000 of id, they are the actual users. So I can see there is one user which is aubreanna, and he is having a bin bash shell as well, and he is having a id of 1000 as well. So first of all let's move into the home directory and let's see whether there is any aubreanna folder. Yes, there is. So if I do cd into aubreanna, hit enter, and now I am having permission denied. So it looks like to me that I am not having access to user.txt file. So now I need to do horizontal privilege escalation, because I will not directly go to now root, because I know that now I need to escalate my privileges to aubreanna, and then from aubreanna I will try to get root access. So what else I can do is I can try to see the cron tab. So cat etc cron tab, because if there is some sort of cron tab running, it might be helpful. So right now I cannot see any sort of cron tab. All of them are not interesting. Then what I can do is I can see my sudo privileges. So sudo -l, and it is asking me for the password of www data. Let's press Ctrl C. That's fine. After all of these things, I always like to see suid binaries. So find in the home directory with the permissions of 4000 and pipe it out to dev null. So and it will list all of the suid binaries. Now I always look for the strange ones or the ones which are in the bin directory, because these are the actual binaries which might be very helpful. But right now all of them are by default and doesn't look interesting anyone, so that's fine. Then after looking all of this stuff, I always navigate into the file system, because might be possible there might be some interesting file or directory present. So first of all I'll always like to go into the web server directory. Now I know that there was web server running, so chances are that there will be wp-config.file, which is by default configuration file, and there might be any sort of username and password. So in that var www.html we are having WordPress. So if I go to WordPress ls, I am having all of the files for the WordPress, and I will cat out the wp-config file to see whether there are any sort of credentials or not. So right now I am having the database name, which is WordPress, database user is WordPress, and database password is WordPress123. Now I will copy all of these, and what I will do is, because I know that I need to escalate my privileges to aubreanna user, so might be possible that aubreanna might be using these credentials. So what I will do is I will switch user, so su into aubreanna, hit enter, and I will try to enter the password which I found through this WordPress file, which was WordPress123. So WordPress123, hit enter, and it gives authentication failure. Now when I am having these sort of situations afterwards, then what I like to do is I will see that whether I have found any other passwords from my previous enumeration. Yes, I do have one password, which is my two boys, and this was the password for admin of WordPress. So I will use same password for aubreanna user, because password reuse is also a very famous vulnerability, and a lot of times you will see password being reused. So what I will do now, su aubreanna, hit enter, and now I will type in my two boys and hopeful that I can log in, but still I am having an authentication failure error. That's fine. Then I always like to navigate into the slash directory, which is the top of the directory of Linux, ls-la, to see anything is strange right now, but doesn't look anything is strange. Then I like to go into the, or before going into any other directory, what I like to do is I like to find all of the specific files onto the system. So I would like to search for like text files, I would like to search for like zip files, and I would like to search for backup files, because these are very important. So there are two methods which you can use. You can use a locate command if it is installed onto the box, otherwise you can use find. So first of all I will locate, and I will say that I want to locate all text file. Now I don't remember the syntax for this one, but let's try. Will this work? So I think so it is working, and now I am having all of the text files onto the system. So if I scroll up, let's see if I am having anything strange in the pattern. So all of these are Python, Snap, Core, nothing interesting. This one is very strange, which is boot, grub, gfx, but nothing strange. But right here I am having this one into the op directory, and this one looks much more interesting. So let's see what is into this one. So if I navigate into my op directory, so cd into opt ls ls-la, I'm having one directory which is containered and a file wp-save.txt. So if I cat out my wp save.txt, and it looks like that I am having the credentials for aubreanna user. It says aubreanna needed these credentials for something later. Let her know you have them and where they are. So now I think so these are the credentials. Now I will again use su, which is switch user, and try to log in. So let's first of all copy these into our notes. I will copy this password. Again I will do su aubreanna, hit enter, paste the password in, hit enter, and now you can see I am logged in as aubreanna user. And the strange thing which you will notice is that I am having colors as well. So the reason why, after getting a reverse shell, I did all of that stuff, exported some variables and imported Python module, just because of this, because I want to have colors as well, fully interactive TTY shell and complete proper shell. So now I am logged in as aubreanna. And let's see whether I am having access to user.txt file or not. So cd into home, ls, cd into aubreanna, ls, and yes, I am having access to user.c. Let's see the file permissions. And looking at the file permissions, yes, aubreanna is the owner of this file, so most probably 100% chances are that I can read the flag, but I will not read in this video. Then we can also see one strange file, which is jenkins.txt, and this one is strange as well. So let's see what is in jenkins.txt, because normally you will not see these sort of files in your home directory. And it says that internal jenkins service is running on 172.17.0.2 and 8080. And now this IP address looks very strange to me, because normally 172 is the IP address for Docker containers. So it looks like that this might be a Docker container or not, I don't know, but we will figure that out in a minute. And then first of all, let's see whether is there any Docker instance running. So if I do ifconfig, and doing ifconfig onto the box, it looks like that yes, there is an interface for Docker 0, and yes, this is the IP address for Docker. So most probably Jenkins web server is running somewhere on the Docker machine. So if I do list out my open ports, now at this point you can also run linpiece, but running linpiece will not be very useful because I have got a hint, I have got a clue which says that Jenkins is running internally. So what you can do is you can manually look into the ports as well. So the command which I always like to use is netstat -tulpn, hit enter, and it will list me all of my open ports. So let's see. Yes, I can see right here that port 8080 is open, but it is listening on localhost, which is 127.0.0.1. So now I think so I need to do a port forward here to see whether Jenkins is running there or not, because whenever I see any sort of strange port, I always do a port forward and see what is running onto this one. So let's do that one real quick. So if I open a new terminal, what I will do into the new terminal to do a port forward is that we use SSH -L, and this is SSH tunneling or SSH port forwarding. You can use other tools like Chisel as well. Now Chisel is very important as well, and whenever you are not having any sort of like port 22 open in your Nmap Scan, right now I am having port 22 open, so that's why I am using SSH. But if you are not having port 22 open, you can always use Chisel, because Chisel is very amazing as well. So we will specify SSH-L for local port forward, and I will say that I want to open a port, let's say quad 9, so 9999 onto my Kali machine, and then I will say that I want to forward the port from this machine, and I know that this machine is running Jenkins web server. So the Jenkins web server is running on 172.17.0.2 on port 8080. So why, from where I noticed this one? From jenkins.txt file. And then what I will do is I will specify the username, which was aubreanna, and then I will specify the IP address or the domain name, which is internal.thm. Now if I hit enter, I will log in again, but with logging in, what will happen is port 9999 will get opened onto my Kali machine. So if I copy the password, paste the password in, and now I am logged in. So I will just close this one terminal because I am logged in, open a new terminal, and if I show you my netstat command on my Kali machine, so netstat -tulpn. Now you can see right here that my Kali machine has opened a port 9999, and you can see the program name, which is SSH. So now if I come here, open up my new browser and type in my local IP, which is 127.0.0.1, because from here I can know that it is listening on localhost. And if I specify my port, which is 9999, hit enter, and let's see what happens. And now you can see that I am having a Jenkins page. Now from where this Jenkins page has arrived, this is arrived from the port forward, which was running on the internal system of the box. So now I have Jenkins. Now again, whenever I see a login page, I will always go for admin. So admin in the username, admin in the password, sign in, and it says invalid username or password. Now again, I have a situation where I am having a login page, so I always like to do default credentials. If they doesn't work, I always go for Hydra BruteForce. Now in this case, I cannot use Wpscan because Wpscan is only for WordPress, and it is used to brute force for WordPress websites as well. So in this case, I have no other tool except Hydra. There are some other tools, but I think so Hydra is one of the best which I have used until now. So what I will use is I will start my burp suite, because burp suite makes it a lot easier just to do Hydra brute force, and I will show you why. We can also use like Firefox network developer tools, but right now it makes it a little bit difficult, so that's why I'm using burp suite in my case. So I will come to my burp suite, turn my intercept on. Let's type in anything random, admin in here, click on sign in, and now my request will be intercepted by burp suite. Now I will keep on this request right here, and I will come to my terminal, clear the screen, and now I will use Hydra. So Hydra -L, And always I like to do is I like to do a brute force on only admin username. And if I have found any other username from my previous enumeration, I will do that. But if I have not any other username, I will do admin first, and then after that I will try with other username. So admin dash capital P, because I want to supply the password list. So user share word list, and my word list will be rockU.txt. And then I will specify the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.4.226. You can also specify internal.thm. So I will specify internal.thm because I have added into my host file. Then I will specify the port, and now you can see that the port is 9999. But one thing which I did wrong in this case is that I will not specify internal.thm, because right now Jenkins is listening on to my local host. So I will specify my local host IP address. So these are the small mistakes which we even do. So that's fine at all. So after that, we need to specify that whether it is HTTP or HTTPS. So in my case, it is HTTP. Then I will specify post form, because it is a form and it is a post request. So that's why. Then I will specify double quotations, and in these double quotations, we need to add three things, and that three things will be from this burp suite request. The first thing is the complete path. So this is the path. Let's paste the path in. Then I will add a colon. After colon, you need to specify this complete like parameters. Paste all of these here. And the third one is the error message. Now error message which I got was invalid username or password. So if I copy this error message, paste this in, now absolutely fine. Then I will do dash v for verbosity as well, because I want to see the request as it moves on. And then I will specify the threads, and for Hydra the maximum threads are 64. So now one thing which I need to change right now is that I need to specify that to Hydra that where you need to do brute force. So for password, I need to remove admin from here, and I will specify in upper triangular brackets the pass keyword. So this is where Hydra will do a brute force attack on passwords, and same is the case with the username. So if I remove admin from here, and if I in upper triangular bracket add user, now this is the default syntax for Hydra. If we don't follow this one, this will not work. So that's why we need to specify where you need to do username brute force and where you need to do password. So if I hit enter, let's see if it gives any error or it works fine. And it looks like that it is working fine. So let's see again the same methodology. I will wait until 5000 passwords. If I didn't get the correct password, I will move on. So let's see. And right here you can see just after 523 requests I was able to get the password, and my password for admin username is SpongeBob. So I will copy this into my notes as well. And let's move on. Now I will turn my intercept off as well. So turn my burp suite off here as well. And now I will specify admin and the password SpongeBob. So let's see if it works or not. And right away in the title I can see dashboard Jenkins. So it means now my credentials are correct, and now I am logged in as administrator. Now getting a reverse shell from Jenkins is fairly easy. Again, there are a lot of methods. We can create a project, we can build something into that project and add our malicious commands. But the easiest way is that you need to go to manage Jenkins. And from manage Jenkins, what you need to do is you need to go to script console here, and this script console will allow you to execute some sort of strange script which is groovy script. And I don't know what groovy script is, so again I will go to Google and I will say that I want to have a groovy script reverse shell. So might be possible that Google might have some sort of reverse shell. So groovy script reverse shell, And right here at the top, I am having one groovy reverse shell on GitHub. It says Java reverse shell. Now, if you are having problems regarding Jenkins reverse shell, you can also read some blog posts by Pentester Academy and other blog posts as well. But I am having the easiest method and it will be not very difficult for you. So what you need to do is you need to copy that groovy script. Most probably it will be 4-line script. So I will copy all of this, click on raw, copy all of this from here, come to Jenkins, paste that in, and we need to change a few things. First of all, I will change the command from here because right now I know this is a Linux machine, so I don't want to execute command prompt.exe. If it would have been for Windows, I will definitely execute command prompt, but for Linux I will always execute bin bash. So this was the first thing. Then I will change the port to 4444 and the local host will be changed to my local IP, which is 10.17.41.9. You can just simply type ifconfig to see this one. So everything looks fine. Before running this one, again I will come to my terminal, clear my screen, and now I will start netcat-nvlp on port 4444, hit enter. Let's come back here. Let's see how to run this one. I think so. Scrolling at the end, yes, there is a run button. Let's click on this one. Let's come back to our terminal, and right away you can see I am having a connection back. So if I type in who am I am still Jenkins. So now I have, first of all, I got www-data, then aubreanna user, and then I am now in Jenkins. So first of all, again the same thing, let's improve our shell. So python-c import pty.spawn, and I will spawn bin bash, and my shell got exited. I don't know why. Let's try one more time. Let's click on run. Let's come back. Yes, I have a connection back. Let's do one more time this same thing. Python-c import pty.spawn. I think so I made a mistake in the quotation, so that's why. So double quotation right here, closing the bracket, single quotation right here, hit enter, and now I am having a neat shell. Again, Control Z to background, stty raw dash echo semicolon foreground, hit enter one more time, and I will do stty. My rows are 32 in the top, columns are 127, export term equals to x term, and dash 256 color as well, and execute bin bash. And let's press Ctrl L. Yes, I can clear the screen, and Ctrl C is not quitting out my session, so that's fine. Now I need to do more enumeration to get root access. So let's see the id command, and I am not a member of any strange group. Then I will do like sudo privileges, sudo dash L, and that is strange that it says sudo command not found. Now I am assuming that this is a docker container, I think so. So let's navigate into the top directory, and if I do ls-la, and yes, right away, due to this file which is .docker and env, so this is a docker container. And if you don't know what docker container is, basically docker container are very limited to different sort of resources, so there are no much tools installed and a very less resources are there. So most probably, let's see what else we can do. So I will now, let's see if I am having anything strange. So like suid binary, so find in the home directory with the permissions of 4000, and I will pipe it out to dev null. I am having some SUID binaries, and there are very less SUID binaries, and all of them are by default, so nothing interesting. Then again, I will do the same thing. Let's locate all of the text files. Might be there some text files, so locate all.txt, and I think so locate is not installed. Yes, locate is also not installed, but we can use find, hoping for the best that find is installed. So find in the home directory with the name of, let's say, all text files. So I will do static.txt, and then I will specify dev null as well at the end so that I should not see any sort of error messages. And if I hit enter, again I am having all of the text files. Let's see, will this work? Normally running linpiece on Docker container might not be useful, but sometimes it can be useful because of enumeration. But let's move at the top, and right away after executing this command I can see that op Note.txt is again a strange one. Rest of them are I think so default. These are for Jenkins and strange ones. So let's move again into the op directory ls. There is a file Note.txt. Let's get this out. And right away I think so now I am having the credentials for the root user. Since this is a Docker container, so switch user will not work, so I need to do ssh. So right here it says will wanted these credentials secured behind the Jenkins container, since we have several layers of defense here. So use them if you need access to the root user account. So these are the credentials. Let's copy them to our notes, and let's try to copy this password and ssh onto the machine. So I will move into a new terminal, do ssh root at internal.thm, paste in the password, hit enter, and right away now I am root at internal. So if I navigate into my root directory ls, and here I have root.txt. So if I show you the permissions, I have read permissions of root.txt. So this was the box. Let's come back to our TryHackme questions. If I have any questions, I don't think so. If we see the scope of this work, yes, it says that you need to specify user.txt and root.txt, and it says that I encourage you to approach this challenge as an actual penetration test, and it can be very helpful in ELN security ECPPT exam, and for ECPPT as well, and especially for OSCP as well. So this one was also a little bit similar to OSCP as well. So if you are going for any certification exam, hopefully this video will help you a lot. And this was the box. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.